Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So I will be doing a 24-hour readathon again, and this will be a horror edition. So I've got some horror books, I've got some horror mangas to read and some short stories, so it will be exciting. So I've already been reading a lot of books in currently, like I'm in like middle of 5 books. They are interesting, they're good, but I don't really want to like binge them. But the first book for this readathon, horror readathon, would be The Shining, Stephen King, The Shining. I read it early this year, but I did not like it a lot. I DNF'd it. I wasn't really liking it because it was too long. It was over 1,000 pages, and the only thing I dislike about that book is it was going for too long and I was losing interest in the plot. But one like exceptional thing about that book was, or about Stephen King, was that it was horrifying. It was very scary, and I love the Shining adaptation of Kubrick, and that is one of the best like horror movies ever made. So I am reading this book coming from watching the adaptation first, so I'm excited to see the parallel between the movie and the book. I hope The Shining would be good. It's smaller, it's like 500 pages, and yeah, this will be the main like big book I'll hope to tackle in this 24-hour readathon. So yeah, let's get started with The Shining. So we are 7 hours 22 minutes into this 24-hour reading vlog, and my throat is all very like painful and it hurts because it's probably strep throat, so I'm sorry if voice sounds different. So I have read around 150 pages of this book. So this book is divided into 5 parts. So I'm in part 3 right now, and I'm really enjoying it. It's surprisingly very good. Watching the movie is really helping me to like stay connected with the plot. The movie is so iconic in terms of its characters and in terms of its cinematography, that I cannot imagine any other people as Jack Torrance or Wendy, and also all the rooms and the hotel and everything. So that makes it more immersive, and that's why I'm really enjoying this novel a lot. So in the first part we get to know the characters. In the second part we get to go to the hotel where they are visiting. So the plot is that Jack Torrance has lost his previous job, and Jack Torrance and his family, which includes his wife Wendy and their kid named Danny, so all these 3 are going to live in this hotel in times of winter alone. Nobody is with them, and then some spooky stuff happens. And also the kid is like kind of a psychic, and Jack Torrance has psychological problems. He has like anger issues, and he has like trust issues with himself and with everybody. And similarly Wendy also has she's a worrywart. She worries about like Danny's future, scared about what Jack will do, and like everything that happening to her, with her and her. She has complicated relationships with her mother. Yeah, so that's very well established. And the plot, it's really hasn't been really picked up yet. The anticipation of knowing what's gonna happen is like keeping me reading this book. So I will continue reading this book. So it's almost at night, so I will read this book, try to do a lot of chunk today and go to sleep, because sleep is important and I'm not gonna sacrifice that. I say that, but I have a really bad sleep cycle. Let's see how this novel develops. The Shining, I read a little bit last night, but today when I woke up I read a lot more. I'm in page 240. We are currently in
I have read up to like 17 hours. We have like 7 hours left, and I'm mostly halfway through the book. So I at least hope that I will finish this one and then continue. So I don't think that I'll be able to read another book that I wanted to read, but instead I'm gonna push myself to maybe read a short story and like a manga. Yeah, the book is it's been slow, a little slow. There's some like interesting things happen with like Danny or with like Jack, with like hallucinations, and then we are again back to like, you know, like neutral things happening, not a lot happening, you know, about history of the hotel and stuff. But I'm guessing that this book is gonna pick up. So I have read the first 3 parts, so I'm in part 4, and in part 4 I'm guessing that like everything is gonna go down. Like I know what's like generally what's gonna happen thanks to the movie, but you know, they are snowbound. They are officially like closed off into the hotel, and that's when the badness happens. While reading this, I think I will take a short break and read a manga. The manga I want to read is Junji Ito's manga, which I'm really interested in reading, and it's called Remina. The reason I'm interested in this manga is because it involves like aliens and outer space creatures coming to Earth, and like it's Junji Ito, so like it's probably be good. I'm looking for some great imagery. I don't really know what it's a lot about, so I'm gonna read that in between this, and I will tell you what's it about and if I like it or recommend it to you. Okay, so I have read the 4th part of this book, and on to the final part. But before that, I wanna say that the 4th part of The Shining felt the weakest in my opinion. It felt like a rehash of what was happening to Danny, to Jack, to Wendy. It happened too many times that I wasn't scared in the 4th part, and that's what really happened similar to me in It by Stephen King. So yeah, his novel starts really good, but at the end, I kind of lose a lot of interest about it. Like some of these chapters are too long. I don't think they really serve a purpose. Like I don't really know what is happening with the ballroom scene with like Danny, and like yeah, I know like what is trying to build up, but it could have been shorter, and like it just a lot of chapters like it feels like it could be shorter. It could be condensed into a proper like it could be more horrific, and like I don't really think like part 4 should have been this long. So that's like my problem with it. Like it just like I'm not really scared a lot as I was when the book started, right? Okay, so I'll be going into the final part of this novel. It's the biggest part. I have like around 150 pages left. We are at like 19 hours and 30 minutes. We have like 5 or 6 hours left. Positive that it could be done in like 2 or 3 hours. So before that, I also, as I said, I read Remina by Junji Ito. It was a very short read. It was like 250 pages of manga, so it's really fast to read, and I really enjoyed it. It's if you don't know, Remina is about like cosmic horror. So it's about this planet which was recently discovered by a scientist who gave the planet name Remina after his daughter, and now that planet is coming in and crashing with the Earth and trying to destroy the Earth, and all of the people are accusing Remina, the professor's daughter, as the cause of it. And because of that, there's like mass hysteria that we need to kill Remina to stop Remina from killing Remina, the planet, from killing us. And that's very interesting. I'm just saying that if you are going to read this novel, go with like an open mind, cause a lot of like non-scientific things happen in but it's really cool. It's really like cosmic horror like level, and like very weird, and tentacles and mouths and eyes and lips of like in a planet, and like it's really cool horror stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I want to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was very ridiculous, but this is kind of what I wanted. I got everything I wanted out of this like outer space, outer planet kind of horror book. Speaking of cosmic horror, so I will be taking a break from Stephen King's The Shining, and I will be reading a short story from another like really popular horror author, like one of the progenitors of horror authors, which is H.P. Lovecraft, who is known for making the genre of cosmic horror, which was Remina. So I'm gonna be reading The Color Out of Space, which is one of the famous short story or novella by H.P. Lovecraft. I'm guessing it will be as similar to it with like outer space and like, you know, tentacles, and like I'm not really familiar with what does cosmic horror like mean, but it really fascinates me because like it's like mixing astrology and like biology and horror with together, and it's like it's really cool, and I'm fascinated with the genre. And yeah, so I wanna give the makers of cosmic horror a try. So I'm gonna be reading one short novella to like kind of refresh my memory and then come back to The Shining. I just finished The Color Out of Space by H.P. Lovecraft. I'm blown away. Like 70 pages novella or like novel. It was this book is so good. It was so imaginative. Like you can think so many ways and imagine so many like different like variation of how this novel is described with all the colors and all the things that happen in it. Like it was like so good. So like I please implore you to go read it. It's like really small. You can like just give it a try. You will love it. I wasn't really expecting to like this story so much. Like I am kind of in love with cosmic horror right now. Like Remina was great, and then The Color Out of Space is like amazing masterpiece. It's like one of the best short stories I have ever read. Like it's like up there with like The Last Question by Isaac Asimov. Like so good. This is such a good story, and I cannot wait to read like H.P. Lovecraft's other books and also like try more cosmic horror by more authors. Just give you a little synopsis to maybe like get you into it. So this book is simply about a meteor that falls into a place, and that meteors have like weird properties that with compared to colors, and like it's shrinking away, and it's a weird comet which is fallen into this farmland, and our main character is kind of investigating it. So many chills moments at the end, and how it is so described. So like there are so many good word choices present in here. I'm glad I read it. It's a highlight of this 24 hours readathon, at least now. Like unless like The Shining like comes over and like the last half is like one of the best. So yeah, I'm gonna continue with Shining, and we have only 4 hours left. So 20 hours are done in this readathon and 4 hours left, and my goal was to finish Shining. So let's go and finish this Shining book. So the challenge is already over. Well, it's been 3 days since it's already over, but you know, I had a really bad like throat infection. You can still hear my voice being like a little damaged, but anyway, I am done with The Shining. I read it around like 23 hours into the whole challenge, so I had 1 hour left. I didn't read anymore. I just kind of was a little exhausted. It's good. It's overall it's a good novel. Like right now I have finished it. Like I read It by Stephen King, and I have finished Shining by Stephen King, and like I kind of understand what Stephen King strengths are and what his weaknesses are. You know, watching the movie really helped me to like keep on going with this book, because you know, if you like the movie, you get so much insight into the characters which are like inspired by, like the characters are a little different in the book or in the movie, but like you get so much more character development and like character knowledge in this, like in the book form, than you ever do in the movie. Like I didn't felt really spooked. Like some of the chapters were really spooky with like Danny, and like the whole hedge animals are like spooky, and the room 217 is a little spooky. But other than that, it just wasn't really scared. It was more of like a psychological and like drama, family drama kind of speak. Except like Jack Torrance is of course scary with his like mental breakdown and like his like addiction, and it's just so very well done. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a solid 4 out of 5 stars book. And yeah, I can definitely say that I would love to read more Stephen King to find a book that perfectly works for me. You know, my goal for like reading Stephen King is to find that one book which is like a 5 out of 5 stars, where like every time I start a Stephen King book, I've only read 2 by the way, but if when I start another Stephen King book, I want that high that you feel when you start the book. When you start his book with like I felt with It or Shining, I want to feel that all the way throughout the end of the book and not lose that magic that he builds up at the start. Just a little like a recap. So I read Shining, and I read The Color Out of Space by H.P. Lovecraft, and I read Remina by Junji Ito, and all of the 3 were great books. My favorite out of them was A Color Out of Space, The Color Out of Space. It's a 5 out of 5 star for me. I really enjoyed the atmosphere, and it's just a great short story. Please go read it. I'm definitely gonna continue with reading more Stephen King, reading more H.P. Lovecraft, and of course reading more Junji Ito, because they're all 3 great horror novelist or author out there. So yep, that is it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed me reading Shining and other books and gotten some recommendation. If you have some horror recommendation, please feel free to answer that, and I will see you later. Bye.
Potter, what are you doing wandering the corridors at night?
I was sleepwalking.
How extraordinarily like your father you are, Potter. He too was exceedingly arrogant, strutting about the castle.
My dad didn't strut. And nor do I. Now, if you don't mind, I would appreciate it if you could lower your wand.